In our Series 3 Meals, we travel to different states to break bread with voters and hear what's on their minds. This morning, 2 weeks before Election Day, we visit the battleground state of Pennsylvania. The only debate between Democratic Senate candidate John Fetterman and Republican nominee Mehmet Oz will take place tonight. The CBS News Battleground Tracker shows Fetterman with a small lead of just 2 points, meaning the race is still a toss-up. Our national correspondent Jericka Duncan spoke with the voters in 3 Pennsylvania counties and got a taste of issues they're focused on.
Pennsylvania, the Keystone State, is vast in its beauty and instrumental as a battleground for the highly contested statewide elections.
So our first stop is Lucerne, Pennsylvania. Now, this is an interesting place because it neighbors Scranton, Pennsylvania, which is where President Biden grew up. Historically, it's been a blue county until Trump flipped it red back in 2016.
At Chuck's Main Street Diner, a bustling breakfast spot in the heart of town.
Hello there. How are you all this morning?
Good. How are you?
We met friends Tony Zambito and Jim Reno, who come here just about every morning.
How are you guys feeling about some of the issues and the candidates?
Well, I think the Republicans are going to do really well this time around because inflation, open borders, gas prices, everything's not good.
I'm looking for a candidate that's going to stimulate the economy, get it moving, give my children, my grandchildren opportunities to survive, and get the things that we did over the last 20 years. I would say that I have voted both ways, Democrat and Republican. I vote for the candidates. I don't vote for a party.
Mike Bayer says he's most concerned about the polarization and hostility dominating the political climate.
It seems like everyone's got to side with one side and everyone's going to side with the other side. And everything you hear is constant fighting between the lines. So while everyone's fighting, politicians are running to the bank with our money.
Jeanette and John Stevenson have lived in Lucerne for 40 years.
Where do you feel like our country is headed?
If people would give Biden a chance, I mean, what's happening now, I don't think would just be because of Biden. Whoever got in, it's just the way things are.
Next, we're headed south to Northampton County. Now, this is known as a political bellwether, a longtime purple swing county that Trump narrowly won by 0.7% back in 2020.
Main Street Restaurant, a local lunch favorite, boasts the best cheesesteaks in town.
I don't necessarily always vote my party. I feel as if I want to vote for the best person for the job, but I don't know who that is.
Is that frustrating?
It is, very.
Maria and Vernon's grandson Jackson just turned 18, and he decided not to register to vote.
You just see the commercials on TV and everything, and they're just all coming at each other and arguing about everything, and I just don't feel like that's something to stress about yet.
Pennsylvania is one of 8 states with an open seat for governor. And with a lot at stake, both President Biden and former President Trump have visited the state several times in recent months.
There's a lot of issues. What's most pressing for you and your family?
I have 2 girls, so the issue with Roe versus Wade is a big issue for me. And if things don't change, it could only go worse for the girls or for the women in the future.
Kathy and her 26-year-old son Joe both say they worry about the future of the country and their right to vote.
Regardless of what your opinion is, who you vote for, who you support, whatnot, every American has the right to vote. People tried to take that from us because they didn't like what the majority of us said.
When you say people tried to take that from us, are you referring to the January 6th?
Yes. January 6th. They live in a democracy that has its choice.
Our last stop brings us to the birthplace of democracy, Philadelphia, where issues like gun violence and crime are on the minds of many voters here. In fact, Pennsylvania as a whole reported a greater year-over-year increase in violence than any other state in the country. Positano Coast is a popular restaurant among locals in Old City. Everyone we spoke with here says the uptick in crime is a problem.
I have a daughter who is 9 years old. The alarming rate in increase in school shootings really concern me. a lot.
It's just the babies are running around hurting each other, and they don't realize they're a part of a larger community, a larger cause, and it's as if they don't value human life anymore. They don't value their own lives. They don't see a future for themselves or their communities or their friends.
When you look at the candidates and your options, are you pleased with what these politicians are offering you?
No. I mean, I am going to choose to vote for John Fetterman, but I'd like to have other options.
Despite that, 24-year-old Brett Gieman says this is a time where it's more important than ever to vote.
I mean, a lot of people say your vote doesn't count, and there's reasons behind that, but it definitely does. I mean, it's the only way to make your voice heard, realistically, as an individual in this country.
And that is something we keep hearing time and time again. You know, I did a 3-meal special a few years ago in Nevada, and it is this idea that we've become so divided that those who are engaged in our political system feel like this is the time to make your voice heard. But economy, crime, abortion rights, those were all sort of topics that we kept hearing. You had people who didn't want to go on camera just because of the sensitivity of some of the things that we're talking about, being judged and how they feel. But I'm always struck at once people get going and they feel comfortable really expressing how they feel.
They have a lot to say.
They have a lot to say. They really do.
Well done, Jericka. Thank you so much.
Thank you.